That man next to you is a dog. That man next to you is somebody who wants this thing.
And this is our game. It's our game.
You got me out, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man.
Make it win. Make it know what you did. Let's go get the show.
And it is a five-man rush. Manziel retreats. Look at this. He's still on his feet and heaves it deep. Oh!
James trying to get to the outside, looking for a block. James still to the sideline. Shakes another tackle. James touchdown.
There is no better sign.
Lawrence took a peek downfield, had a lot of room, and breaks the tackle, and is still running. Lawrence in a foot race. Will they catch him? Touchdown, Tigers! Wow!
56-yarder. It's got, no, it does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Taylor. He stopped.
Oh, jump pass. How about that?
What Indiana did 2 weeks ago. Elliott, touchdown.
Wow. Michigan to 41. What a hit. Ball's free.
Throwing it to him out on third down.
Huskies upset the Trojans here in Seattle.
What's going on, everybody? What is up? Welcome into the very first edition of our brand new college football podcast here on the MI6 Sports Network, as well as the IM6 Network. I'm your host, Isaiah Leong, coming at you live here today. Happy Saturday. Happy College Football Saturday. We got a great Saturday slate of games for you here today. A lot of great games in the morning, a lot of great games in the afternoon, a lot of great games in the evening. It's just going to be a hell of a great college football Saturday here today, and I just cannot wait to break it all down. You like what you are watching right now? If you guys are liking what you're hearing, go ahead, do us a favor, like and subscribe on our MI6 Sports Network page as well as our IM6 page. And yeah, give us all the follows, the likes, give us everything, you know. We are on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on anywhere that you can find your podcast, or anywhere on social media you can find us. Go ahead and just search us up, and you guys can go ahead and leave us a like, and we would really appreciate it. I'm not going to go through all the games that are happening because we do have a lot of games. I'm just going to point out some of the games, give my predictions, and then talk a little bit about just break some of the games down, because we got a lot of games. I do want to say this. Is it Thanksgiving? I mean, did someone not tell me? I know it's in September, but did they move Thanksgiving to September, or did someone not tell me that this was not September, but November, that this was Thanksgiving? The reason why I'm saying this is because look at all the games that we have on the schedule. Like, look at all the games that we have today. Like, it feels like Thanksgiving with all the rivalries. I mean, we got the Apple Cup today with Washington and Washington State. We've got the Civil War with Oregon and Oregon State. We got Utah State versus Utah, the Battle of Utah. We have all these amazing rivalries that are happening today that are typically when it's Thanksgiving. I mean, the Civil War, Thanksgiving tradition. The Apple Cup, Thanksgiving tradition. It's going to be so damn wild and so damn weird to see those rivalries at another time outside of the week of Thanksgiving. Like, it's just going to be so damn weird. And I'm going to tell you all this right now. I'm going to tell you all this. We also have the backyard brawl between West Virginia and Pitt. That should be a fun game here today. But let me just say this, number one, about the Apple Cup. I'm torn as hell because, like you guys can clearly see right there in those photos, I have an allegiance to the Huskies. I got an allegiance to the Cougs as well. So I don't know who to root for. I don't know who to go for. I can't go for both teams. I don't know. Maybe I should be like the president of the Apple Cup and just hope for a great game. But let's start off, guys, with our morning slate of games. We got a big one, a big-time game. Number 4 Alabama, led by their head coach, Kalen DeBoer, heads to Madison, Wisconsin for the first time in over 40 years to take on the Wisconsin Badgers at Camp Randall Stadium. It's a 9 a.m. Pacific time kick on Fox. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people expect because, number one, you're in hostile enemy territory in Wisconsin. Camp Randall Stadium is no joke. Camp Randall Stadium is no joke at all. It gives the Badgers a great home field advantage. I mean, jump around. I mean, it's crazy over there. And then you look at Alabama. Like, Alabama last week struggled against USF. They struggled against the South Florida team that defensively they're not really that good. But somehow, somewhere, that Alabama defense with a lot of penalties, a lot of struggles in the offensive line, they struggled to put up points. Yes, they scored 42 points, but if you actually look at the game in general, right? Alabama struggled in that game. I mean, that game was like, I believe at one point in that game against South Florida, even though they won 42-16, they outscored USF 28-3 in the fourth quarter. And a lot of those points came like with about 7 minutes to go after USF constantly tried to go for it on 4th down and they kept getting stuffed. But at one point in the fourth quarter, this game between Alabama and USF, this game was legitimately 14-3 with about, it was 14-13, my bad, with about 11 minutes to go in the game. Like, that's how close it was. So don't let the score deceive you. I think that with Wisconsin, they are a very physical team that will give Alabama problems, especially with their defensive line. I think their defense will be able to stuff the Crimson Tide offensive attack. My question is can the Badgers offense under Luke Fickell put up points? And when you look at the Wisconsin Badgers, right, you look at a team who is led by, a really, really good quarterback they have there. He's a terrific player. Obviously he's going to be the key because if your defense can go and play well against a Kalen DeBoer team, you got the physicality. That's how you beat Bama. You got to be physical at the line of scrimmage, both offense and defense. And then you got to be able to run the football against Alabama, and you got to be able to contain Jalen Milroe. You're not going to stop Jalen Milroe, okay? You're going to have to contain Jalen Milroe. And if they can do what USF did, which is keep him in the pocket, don't let him get out of the pocket, don't have those, limit those explosive plays, I think Wisconsin is going to be fine. And I think this game is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people expect. I think Fickell will have his team ready to play. I mean, this is their biggest test in the Luke Fickell era. I think that for Wisconsin, it really comes down to the quarterback play. Like, it really comes down to how good can their quarterback be? Like, how good can Wisconsin's quarterback be in that air raid offense that they're running under Phil Longo, their offensive coordinator? So I think that's the questions for me. If I have to go with the score, I'm going to go with Alabama, but don't be surprised if Wisconsin pulls this out. Like, I think that I think Alabama wins this one. I'm going to go with a lower scoring, like 28-21 game. I think Bama's offense will have control of this game. My question is, like I said, the quarterback, can he play well? If he plays well, then I think Wisconsin's got a legit shot. But if he doesn't play well, then oh boy, I think Bama's got cruise control of this. Not going, it wouldn't be a blowout. I just think it would be one of those like 28-14 type of games that you're just like, okay, Alabama, it seems close, but it actually wasn't that close. So I'm going to go with Alabama to win this game. The next game we're going to go with is a big test for Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers. Number 16 LSU travels to Columbia, South Carolina to visit the Gamecocks of South Carolina, who's coming off a big win over Kentucky. This is a game that I think is going to make or break LSU, because if LSU can win this game, they've got a really good schedule coming up, like a schedule that's filled with games that you should win. But if they lose this game and they're 1-2, then obviously the heat's on Brian Kelly. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of heat. And you look at the schedule upcoming. You got Ole Miss at home on October the 12th. Then you travel to Arkansas, which is not a good place to play. Then you got A&M. Then you got Bama. Then you got Florida. But if they win this game, right? If you start 2-1, then you have UCLA, who sucks. I mean, they were in a dogfight with my school, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Then you have South Alabama. You should win those two games. So if you win today, you'll be 2-1. I'm assuming you're beating UCLA and South Alabama, because both of those teams are not that good. I know South Alabama had that big win over Northwestern State, but come on, man, that's Northwestern freaking State over here. So you should beat them. If you're 4-1 going into Ole Miss and it's at home, I think you're in pretty good shape, because you have Ole Miss, then you have Arkansas, which you should win. A&M's not really that good offensively. So the schedule sets up pretty good for LSU to win their division or to go to the SEC title game. If they were to win. So this is a make or break game for Brian Kelly. It's a huge game. Gamecocks they have the momentum based on the fact that they pulled out an amazing win against Kentucky last week. I think this is going to be a great game. From start to finish, I'm looking forward to watching it once the clock hits 9 a.m. in a couple of hours. But I think for LSU, it comes down to how is their defense going to do? Blake Baker, how is that defense going to do against the offensive attack of South Carolina? And how is Garrett Nussmeier going to play on the road for the first time? Hostile environment, we shall see. But give me LSU to win this game. I'm going to go LSU 31-28. I think it's a dogfight. I don't trust LSU's defense. I think they'll give up a bunch of points in this game, but give me LSU to win this game. All right, let's go to the next game. We go in with Memphis at Florida State. Mike Norvell facing his former team, looking for the Seminoles' first win of the season. And listen, the Seminoles have been battered, they've been bruised, and they've been beaten up. And the thing with FSU is you're not only getting beat, you're not only getting beat by Boston College and Georgia Tech. No, you're getting beaten up at the point of attack, and that's what is shocking about their two losses. It's a big issue, because it's not just the quarterback. You're getting physically bullied at the line of scrimmage by both the offensive line, by both the opposing team's offensive line and the opposing team's defensive line. Like, when you talk about FSU football, even when they're bad, even when they're not good, you could still expect a physical FSU team that would not stand to get bullied. But you look at FSU's now, they're getting destroyed on the offensive line. They're not being able to run the football. They don't have any running game whatsoever. Their defensive line teams literally are lining up against their defensive line, and they're just like, you know what, we're just going to power right through you. You don't see that from FSU. And when you look at this matchup, right, Memphis is no joke, okay? Memphis is no freaking joke at all under head coach Ryan Silverfield. They're no joke. And I think that when you look at this matchup, like, obviously they're going to have a lot of juice to go on the road and beat Mike Norvell, their former head coach. I think for FSU, we'll see who plays at quarterback. I know a lot of people have been saying that they want the backup in. Well, we shall see. But it doesn't matter who you have at quarterback. It really depends on the line of scrimmage. If Memphis is out there beating FSU at the line of scrimmage on both sides, then FSU is going to lose this game, plain and simple. But for FSU, if you're able to win the line of scrimmage, that's going to be a great starting point to getting this win, because you got to reestablish dominance on that side of the football right now, because you just haven't been able to. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think both Memphis has a really good running back in Mario Anderson, the senior. He's very explosive, so you're definitely going to have to stop him. And then, FSU, same thing. They haven't been able to establish the run. DJ's got question marks there. The wide receivers got question marks there. Give me Memphis in an upset. I'm going to go with the Memphis Tigers to win this football game. I think they win it about, I'm going to go 38-24. I think that Memphis goes into Tallahassee and puts the Seminoles to an 0-3 start. And yeah, there will be a lot of big question marks about Mike Norvell after this game. Let's go to some more 9 a.m. games. Let's go with, we got Louisiana Tech, NC State. I think that should be a pretty solid type of game. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with NC State to win this game. La Tech, they just don't have the flavor for me. I think, and plus NC State's at home as well. The line is NC State minus 20.5. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. I think Louisiana Tech loses by 14 instead of 20.5. So give me NC State. North Texas, Texas Tech. It's in Lubbock. Texas Tech's offense hasn't really shined for me. North Texas, they've got a decent team. They've got a pretty decent team, good passing attack. I'm gonna go with Texas Tech to win it, but I don't be shocked if North Texas puts up a fight. Let's go to one of our last 9 a.m. games. We got number 24 Boston College, Bill O'Brien going against Missouri. That should be a fun game in Mizzou. I think this game is going to be really close. Bill O'Brien's a really good offensive play caller. He's a really good offensive play designer. You've seen it the first couple of weeks. Their quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, last year was not that dynamic as a passer. Well, guess what? He's turned it completely 180, and he's been pretty solid as a passer this season. Mizzou's got a really good defense. Mizzou's got a dynamic defense. They've got a tremendous they've got a really, really solid quarterback as well. I think this is going to be one of those really close back and forth games. I'm going to go with the upset. I think Boston College goes into Missouri and pulls the upset with Bill O'Brien at the helm. They're a very physical team. I think they win this game I would say about 24-21. I think it's one of those low scoring games. And then let's move to the 12 p.m. slot. We've got number 9 Oregon at Oregon State. We've got the Civil War in September. What a freaking concept. The Civil War in September. The Ducks have been playing uninspired football the first couple of weeks of the season. Dan Lanning knows his team needs to wake up and get things going, because if they don't, they're in big trouble. The Ducks, listen, a lot of people are giving them flack for only beating Boise State by 3 points. Listen, Boise State is a damn good team, okay? Boise State, as much as I hate it, they are a good football team. Boise State is going to give a lot of like Power 5 teams trouble, right? They've beaten SEC teams before, so they're no gimme. So I'm not surprised that the Ducks had a dogfight with Boise. I am surprised, however, that the Ducks had a dogfight with freaking Idaho because the Vandals freaking suck. But this is a game right here. It's in Corvallis. Oregon's traveling over there. They're playing for the first time in September, Civil War. Oregon State, obviously they're pissed because they felt like Oregon left them out to dry last year. When the Ducks, along with Washington, made the move to the Big Ten and basically ended the Pac-12. So obviously you have that going for the Beavers. The Ducks need to come out and be ready from the get-go, because if you're not, I think Oregon State could pull the upset, especially at home in a hostile environment. I could see the Beavers end up pulling the upset in that one, but I'm going to go with the Ducks. I think the experience of Dylan Gabriel is definitely going to be a major plus for the Ducks. I think this is a get-right game for the Ducks. The Ducks realize, okay, the first 2 weeks of the season, we were playing like crap, right? We're playing like dog shit, but it's time for us to snap out of this and start playing like championship level football like we expect. And I think this is going to be a really good game between these two teams. I think the both quarterbacks will play well. And I give me the Ducks. I'm going to go with Oregon winning it. I'm going to go with Oregon winning at 42-31. I think it's one of those like really good offensive battles between these two rivals, but it should be fun here with the Civil War going on. This game's on Fox. Let's go with another game, Tulane at Oklahoma. Don't be shocked if Tulane pulls the upset, because Tulane is a pretty good team. Oklahoma and Brent Venables last week had a hard time against their opponent, who wasn't really that good anyway. So I think the Sooners are in for a dogfight. I think that Tulane could give them some issues. Oklahoma had issues with Houston. Houston team that got whooped in their first game by a non-competitive opponent. They gave them a lot of issues, and they ended up winning. Oklahoma held on 16-12, but still, kind of a not impressive effort. But Oklahoma at home, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, start against Tulane. I think Tulane will give them some trouble, but I think Oklahoma at the end will hold on and win this game. Let's go to Nevada and Minnesota. I think this one's pretty easy. I think Minnesota wins this game and wins it pretty handily. Nevada they just suck. They have a new head coach, but it's gonna take time to turn it around. So I think that Nevada, honestly, they're not gonna even give Minnesota a lick of fight whatsoever. I think this game is over from the beginning. Give me Minnesota in a blowout. Let's go to the Apple Cup, baby. The Apple Cup. I'm torn, like I told you guys. I don't know who I want, whether it's Wazoo or whether it's UW. I don't know who I want. My favorite quarterback, Will Rogers, is on the side of the Huskies. I think this is going to be a good game. Like I said on 6 for 6 with my guy Trevor Williams yesterday, I think this game, it's going to be a great test for both these two teams, right? Washington their offense has not faced a defense like Wazoo. Wazoo's defense has not faced an offense like Washington, and they haven't faced a quarterback like Will Rogers, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And on the other side, it's the same thing. Wazoo their offense hasn't faced the defense like the Huskies, who have only allowed 4 field goals this entire season. They have not allowed a touchdown touchdown yet. So it's going to be a great game. I think in the end, though, Will Rogers, his presence will carry the Huskies to the win, because when you have a star quarterback like that, always the superstars always come up big. And I think Will Rogers comes up big for the Washington Huskies. Give me the Huskies to win this game in Lumen Field. I know they said it's a neutral site, but come on, man. It's in Seattle. It's a 15-minute subway ride from the Washington campus to Lumen Field. With Lumen Field to Pullman, it's like you have to take a flight, for crying out loud. So I think you're going to see majority of it being Husky fans. So I'm going to go with Washington to win it. I'm going to go with Washington to win this game. I'm going to go with the Huskies 38-31. I think it's going to be a close game in the Apple Cup between these two teams. Let's go with I'm just trying to see some of these other top games. Utah State, Utah, Battle of Utah. Number 12, Utah heads to Utah State. And you know what? Give me the upset. This has all the ingredients for a classic upset. Two rivals that hate each other. Battle of Utah. You know these rivalry games are always going to be very close. And also, number 12, Utah is heading to Utah State, a hostile enemy territory. And that is what is one of those big keys for an upset. I'm going to go with the Aggies. I think the Aggies go and pull it off. The Aggies have been playing decent football this entire season. Maverick Stadium is going to be rocking. Both of these two teams are rivals. They don't like each other. So give me the Aggies of Utah State to pull the upset over number 12, Utah. And then let's go with some of those, late afternoon into the evening games. UConn at Duke. I think Manny Diaz and Duke wins it. UConn just hasn't been that good, sadly. It's at Duke as well. So give me the Dukies to win that game. Let's go into the night games, guys. We've got number 5 Ole Miss at Wake Forest. I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I think that Wake Forest sadly proves to be no challenge whatsoever for Lane Kiffin's highly explosive offense. Hawaii, my Rainbow Warriors at Sam Houston State. Listen, I think Hawaii could start off slow. I think Sam Houston State right now is the favorite to win this game. They are 1-1 in the Conference USA. This is going to be a good test for Hawaii. Sam Houston State, they really, they have a really, really dynamic RJ Harvey. He is really, really good. He's a dynamic runner. Hawaii's got to stop the run. That's the problem with Hawaii. Hawaii's off defense, they're not that good of a run stuffing team. So hopefully Hawaii's able to shore that up, because they're going to have to today if you want to stuff the run. Plus, it's in Sam Houston State. I am going to go with the Rainbow Warriors because I don't think Sam Houston State has faced an offense as like a caliber of Hawaii with the run and shoot and the quarterback of Braden Shager. I'm going to go with Hawaii to win this one, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think Hawaii wins this game in a close battle. Let's go to some of the other games here on our night schedule. It's going to be a fun night of college football. Let's go with number 1, Georgia at Kentucky. The Dogs have played Kentucky like pretty good recently. The Dogs, a lot of people are hyping this matchup up. The Dogs, they've had no problem with Kentucky. I think the same is going to hold true for this matchup, even though it's in Kentucky. I know Kroger Field is going to be going crazy, but you just got whooped by South Carolina. Like Mark Stoops, that team, they play slow. They're physical, but they play slow. So Georgia, like if you're not playing fast and you don't have the tempo, like you're not going to hurt Georgia. So I think Georgia's offense is able to get it going early. Carson Beck has a really good game. They're able to run the football, and the defense dominates. Give me Georgia in a blowout. I think they blow out Kentucky. No, Northern Iowa at number 23, Nebraska. Listen, I'm very high on Nebraska. I'm very high on Matt Rue. I'm very high on Dylan Raiola. I think he's a really dynamic future superstar quarterback. I think this is Raiola's coming out party. I think Raiola dominates. I think that he dominates Northern Iowa, and I think they win this game by, I think they're going to win it in a blowout. Nebraska's too physical. Nebraska is just way too damn physical. They're way too damn polished on both the offensive side and the defensive side. And they've got the star quarterback in Raiola. So I think Raiola throws for 5 touchdowns. I'm going to go with Nebraska in a blowout. Some of the other games that we've got here, Indiana, UCLA. This is a matchup between two mid teams on NBC, so I think it's going to get very interesting. UCLA cannot afford to get off to a slow start like they did last week against Hawaii. Indiana, both these two teams got new head coaches. I'm going to go with UCLA to win this. It's going to be a close game. I think UCLA wins by like 3. Then let's go to Colorado and Colorado State. You know, last year there was all that hype going into the game, and it ended up being an amazing game. 2 overtime battle. Colorado took it. Give me Colorado to win it again. I just trust Shedeur Sanders. You know, I like their quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. I think it's going to be like last year, back and forth battle. You don't see a lot of defense. It's going to be an offensive shootout, and I think that Colorado ends up pulling off the victory. They have to, because Dion needs this game. He really does. Like Dion, you got to, like, they've been talking a lot of talking a lot of mess, and so far you cannot afford to go 1-2. You cannot afford to start 1-2 in this season. And then UCF at TCU. This is another Big 12 battle. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. Gus Malzahn, his offense versus Sonny Dykes. I think this is an offensive shootout. I think that you're not going to see a lot of defenses in this game. Give me UCF to win this game at TCU. I think that, sorry, Cole, I know you're going to the game, but give me UCF in the shootout to win it, to win this game. Let's go to New Mexico State at Fresno State. My boy Martin Garcia is going to this game. Martin, I hope you have a blast going to this game, buddy. But guess what? Your Bulldogs are in for a rude awakening. The New Mexico State Aggies have a punishing ground attack. They've got a decent defense. They've got a good quarterback. And Fresno doesn't know what it has got their hands in for against New Mexico State. I think New Mexico State goes into Fresno. I think they win this game. The Aggies shock the Bulldogs with their physicality and their rushing attack. Give me New Mexico State to win this game, and I think they'll win it by a touchdown. And then I think there was one more game that we missed that I really wanted to get into, and that was Texas A&M at Florida. Big game for both sides, but I think this is a more bigger game for the Florida Gators. Billy Napier and the Gators got whooped in their first game against Miami. They got dominated on all sides of the ball. The Gators, look, their schedule is rough. Like, after they play A&M, they play Mississippi State on the road. That's not an easy place to play. Then they play UCF. Then they play Tennessee on the road. Then they play Kentucky at home. Then they play Georgia. Then Texas. Then LSU. And then after that, you've got Ole Miss and you got Florida State. So you got just a gauntlet coming up. If Billy Napier does not win this game, I don't see how the Gators avoid having a 10-loss season. Like, I think that this season is setting up to be a disaster if you don't win this game. It's at home. It's at the Swamp. A&M's quarterback Connor Weekman, Pete Thamel, noted ESPN college football writer, just tweeted out that he might be out. So if he's out, and A&M's a team that plays slow, they're not really an offensive team, Florida can hang with A&M. Florida cannot hang with a lot of these teams that just have more talent than them, like a Tennessee, like a Georgia, like an LSU, like a Texas. Those are guaranteed 4 losses right there. If you lose this game against Texas A&M, that's going to be 5, most likely. You already got a loss. That's going to be 6. And then we'll see what happens with Mississippi State and UCF. Like, the Gators are in for like a freaking 3-10 season. Like, and Billy Napier, if you go 3-10, you're not keeping, or you go 3-9 or 2-10, you're not keeping your job, because you've been 5-7 the last several years, and we know places like a Florida, like a Miami, like a USC, you cannot go have losing records at these places. They're not patient. Like, they're like the Lakers, they're like the Niners, they're like some of the Cowboys. You cannot, like, there are places where you can go 5-7, it's okay, but a 5-7 at Florida is like going 2-10 at a lowly scoop. So Billy Napier's got to win this game, and with all the injuries that A&M's got, they have to win this game. There's no ifs, buts, whatever. You have to win this game. But guys, it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody who tuned in to college football talk here on the MI6 Sports Network and the IM6 Network. I'm your host, Isaiah. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing college football game. Can't wait. We shall see. Florida is starting Graham Mertz, which I don't like that decision at all because I don't trust Graham Mertz as a quarterback. But guys, it's been a great show. Enjoy what will be a fabulous, amazing, wild college football Saturday that begins in about an hour and a half. Alabama, Wisconsin kicks things off at Madison. Let's freaking go. LSU, South Carolina. Then you got the Apple Cup, and then you got the Civil War, and then you've got the late games. Colorado State. You got all these amazing teams going at it. Like, let's freaking go. Capped off by Fresno State, New Mexico State. Let's go, man. I am so excited. I'm ready to go. I'm pumped up, as you guys can see. Let's freaking go. Let's do this, man. Let's have a happy Saturday, and also let's enjoy what's going to be a great football day. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy college football Saturday.
That man next to you is a dog. That man next to you is somebody who wants this thing.
And this is our game. It's our time.
You got me out. Right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man.
Make it win. Make it know what you did. Let's go get you.
And it is a 5-man rush. Maxwell retreats. Look at this. He's still on his feet and heaves it deep. Oh! James trying to get to the outside, looking for a block. James still to the sideline. Shakes another tackle. James touchdown.
There is no better time.
Lawrence took a peek downfield, had a lot of room, and breaks the tackle, and is still running. Lawrence in a foot race. Will they catch him? Touchdown, Tigers! Wow!
56-yarder. It's got, no, does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Taylor. He stopped. Notre Dame wins.
Oh, jump pass. How about that?
What Indiana did 2 weeks ago. That is touchdown. Wow. Michigan 41. What a hit. Ball's free.
Throwing it to him out on third down. Huskies upset the Trojans here in Seattle.